Hi there everyone, this is Tracy from Lavinia Stamps and thank you for joining me for another demonstration today. We're going to be using lots of different products. We've got our elements, we've got our versifying clay, of course, we've got a number of different stamps. I'm going to use some embossing powders. So I've got my multifarious card here. And I've got a number of different stencil brushes I'm going to use initially to create a background with our elements. I've got here Blue Lagoon, and I'm going to just dip my stencil brush in, just test it first on a scrap piece of paper, and then you're just bringing it in from the edge, and we're going to cover quite a lot of that white area with this gorgeous blue. But it's just about working with it. Keep on working with it. You can see I'm getting a little bit lighter towards the centre. And we're just going to keep building up our depth. First I'm going to put in a little bit of the lime punch. So this is a great colour. Love this colour. Just wanted it to be a little bit green as well. Okay, I'm going to go back to the blue. And these brushes, these stencil brushes, are fabulous for creating this kind of background. The brushes, the bristles on them are so dense, but they've been made very professionally in the sense that the bristles don't actually fall out. I don't think I've experienced any falling out on me at all. They're very dense, but they're incredibly soft, so they give you a beautiful finish. Now let's go over to the Bermuda as well. I do love this colour. Just bringing in some density around the edges now. Now it does take a little bit of time to build up this colour, but I actually think there's something quite therapeutic about swirling. Okay, let's just sit with that for a while. I've got some trees here. And I'm going to ink these up. I think we'll ink these up in the twilight actually. Okay, I'm going to pop one down here. And then I'm going to just pop one down the side, just off the edge of the card. And the beauty of this stamp is that actually I can just turn the trunk around and just join that up. We can make that trunk as long as we want then. Yeah. So I've got one of our smaller trunks here, and I'm going to ink up. I'm just going to dab a little off the bottom. And I'm going to put that in the distance there. And I'm going to do the same again. Ink up. I'm going to take off. And again, I'm just going to wipe that off at the bottom, because I want this to be very much in the background. Okay. And now I'm going to start with the Golden Meadow, which I know I go to quite a lot, but I do love this colour. It's like almost like a green, a golden green. And because it's very subtle, I can just stamp over the top and it won't affect the tree trunk at all. Obviously, if I did that with black, it would be far too overpowering. So okay, let's try the Shady Lane. That's a little bit darker now. And I'm going to put that on the base of the tree. It's not too dark. I need something a little bit darker. I'm going to go with the Twilight. I'm going to gently stamp off. There you go, that's perfect. Because I don't want the base of the tree to just suddenly come to an end. I'm just softening that off with some leaves, so you can't actually see where it finishes. And I'm going to do the same here, just in this corner. So let's take our pastel pencils now. I'm going to pick a couple of colours. Let's go with the yellow. I'm just enhancing some of these colours with the pastels because ink over ink, as you know, you can't make ink lighter, so you need something like the pan pastels or the pencil pastels to go over the top. It may work with the distress oxides as well, because you can layer colour over the top of ink, but you couldn't now put something like this over the top of a dark colour. It just won't layer like that. So that's where you need your pastels, and I must say the pencils do come in handy, but also, you know, I've got a couple of pan pastels here that I'm going to show you in a minute, just to lighten certain areas. So now I'm going to use my anti-static bag because I want to do a little bit of embossing down at the bottom here. I might do some up top as well. And we've got a really lovely foliage stamp here, and I'm going to ink up now in the Versamark. That down. And do the same again. And now I'm going to use a Wow embossing powder called Jealous Sky. If you haven't got this one, just pick a nice sort of green, a nice light green or a light yellow, or even white would work. So I'm just going to shake that over the top. Tap off. As you know, the embossing powders do tend to stick to anything that's a little bit wet, so just use a fine brush and take off any areas that you don't want the embossing powder to be. So just give that another tap, see if we can shake as much as we can off. Just take your time. Okay, that's good enough for me. And then I'm using my heat gun now just to set the embossing powders. Okay, just give that a little bit of a bend back into shape. So I'm looking at it now, and I feel like we need something at the top here just to balance this colour out. So I'm going to go back to some foliage, and I'm going to do the same thing again. Ink up. And now using the Jealous Sky, same colour, over the top. Tap that off. That back in, and let's heat this up as well. Okay, so going back to the stencil brush now, I'm going to use the Bermuda, and I'm just going to take that over the bottom here. And that makes those lovely flowers stand out even more. And now we're going to take one of our fairies. I'm going to ink her up in the Versamark again. And pop it just in that space there. And this time I'm going to use the opaque vanilla white . Okay. I'm going to go back to the twilight and use another different pound stamp. Add a little bit more definition at the top here. And you see, just by layering colour gives you so much depth. You really do start to think you're looking into the forest. That's where these pound stamps are fabulous, just for this sort of thing. Okay, I'm going to go back to the Bermuda and I'm just going to swirl a little over the top on the one edge of the fairy. And then I'm going to use the pan pastel and just go down over the top on that one side. I mean, you can pop that anywhere in any little areas that you fear are a little bit dark and they just want lifting. Okay, so now we're going to use some of our lovely stickles. This is my favourite colour, as you know. And I'm just going to dot that round. And I am spreading it out with my finger, but of course you can use a brush. And that's the same with the pan pastels, you know, just use one of their brushes. And I'll put a little bit in the top corner here as well. I'm just going to dot a little bit of magic going through the forest. Like so. Okay. So I think I'm quite happy to leave that there now. It's just a different technique I wanted to show you guys today. You know that I quite like embossing over the top of dark background because it really does stand out, and it creates some fabulous layers. So I hope that you enjoyed today's demo, and I hope it's just inspired you to have a go yourselves. You take care, and I'll see you very soon. Okay, bye for now, guys.